It won't be easy for you to find the disadvantages of pornography on the internet. That is because such information cannot get the recognition and popularity. The content that gets the views is the content that has information people want to hear. To understand how dangerous adult content is, I'll have to first tell you its main goal whilst production. This industry is designed to meet sexual fantasies. This kills the stereotype that the adult industry is there for those who cannot get partners. This industry targets fantasies, and that is why you should not get surprised if someone married can also be a captive to this. And yes, fantasies grow and can also be adopted. This is one of the most dangerous things about adult content. A person can start fantasizing about something they had never fantasized about. If this is not controlled, it can lead to an unthinkably immoral generation. There's a chemical in our bodies called dopamine. The simplest definition for dopamine is that it is a chemical in our brain that helps us feel happy. When something feels good, our brains release dopamine. Every time a person watches adult content, that person induces his/her brain to produce dopamine, which gives them a sensation of pleasure. The problem with this is that these are fake dopamine shots that aren't biological. In addition, this is very unhealthy and it can be dangerous as well, since as time goes on, you will have to graduate to other things to give yourself the same amount of dopamine you used to get. It may actually seem hard to stop craving for these dopamine shots until you start seeing the consequences. This becoming an addiction is the first disadvantage, with horrible long-term consequences which we will be discussing as time goes by. It's also important to understand that the scenes in pornography are usually exaggerated. This creates a distorted perception of what relationships and intimacy should be. Exposure to this adult content can shape unrealistic expectations on what sexual relationships should have. This can greatly affect a relationship, for it becomes impossible to get satisfied with natural sex. God designed everything perfectly and His work is beautiful. Nothing can ever beat the satisfaction that comes when you're naturally with your one true love and both of you can enjoy the moment naturally. Also note that pornography portrays women as mere objects of sexual pleasure, reducing them to their physical appearance and sexual functions. Adult content normalizes acts of violence, degradation and aggression towards women. This can catch up with you sooner than you think. Pornography alone is enough to turn a man into something he had never expected. It could be the reason as to why some respectable men we know end up on the news for unthinkable sexual abuse practices. Whether you want to believe it or not, pornography alone has the potential to shutter a future you've been building. Yours, Percy.